I've been a gamer for as long as I can remember, playing games like Pokemon when I was just a kid, Grand Theft Auto in my teen years, and now anything I can find remotely interesting on Steam. It was always part of my life, I've never really taken a break from it, and I'm fortunate enough to have gaming as not only my hobby, but as my job. But as I grow older, I can't help but notice the fact that gaming is slowly going downhill. By that, I don't mean that gaming is necessarily dying, I mean it's more popular than ever. Especially with live streams and esports now being a very popular source of entertainment, I mean shit, even my grandma knows what Fortnite is because she saw Ariana Grande do a Kamehameha on fucking Will Smith. But as gaming culture is growing more and more popular, the quality of video games being released now are... yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
You put the colony at risk.
Gaming is dead. Gaming sucks now. Games are no longer fun. We hear these phrases being tossed around all the time now, and it made me stop and wonder, is gaming truly dead? Or are we all just getting a little old? I'm here to try and help you guys understand why some of you might feel this way, and although I may not have a definitive answer for everyone, I'll at least shed some light as to why there is a lot more overall negativity towards gaming nowadays compared to back in the day. Now do keep in mind, this is just my opinion and speculation. But first, a word from our sponsor. That's right, I got a fucking sponsor. Could you fucking believe it? Are you tired of your caffeinated beverage of choice giving you crashes, heartburn, migraines, or diarrhea? Now listen, as you guys know, I am a professional connoisseur of caffeine. I've tried them all, you name it. White coffee, black coffee, fake coffee, Red Bull, Monster, G Fuel, crack cocaine. But something that I recently just discovered is this. Gamer Supps. It has the word gamer in it. That's how you know it's fucking legit. Gamer Supps is hands down the best powder energy drink out there. But you don't have to take my word for it because you can try it out for absolutely free. That's right, you heard me. F-R-E-E free. And no, this is not some sneaky shit where you still have to pay for shipping or still have to enter your credit card information for some stupid fucking reason. We are giving out completely free sample packs to the first 500 lucky people to click the link down below. Gamer Supps is purely 100% organic caffeine with absolutely no sugar added and is even keto and diabetic friendly. It gives you just the right amount of energy to keep you focused with whatever it is that you're doing and prevents any sort of caffeine crash to happen to you. I mean, what's not to love? It tastes good, it makes you feel good, it makes me wanna shake up another one for the day. Oh, and did I mention they even have waifus? Lots and lots of waifus, especially made for you creepy losers out there who are so madly in love with fictional women. I mean, imagine that, am I right? All right, now back to the video. Patches and updates are abusive. Now, it comes to nobody's surprise that gaming has actually been around for a long time. There were probably lots of arguments from back in the day that led to a very serious 1v1 match of Pong. And around that time, if you wanted to buy a video game, you needed to get your ass outside into a store and purchase a physical copy of the game that you wanted. I know. Outside. It seems horrifying, but trust me, it wasn't really that bad. I still have very fond memories of my 13-year-old self walking into the video game store with enough money saved up to buy Devil May Cry 3 on the PlayStation 2. I was the happiest little kid on the planet that day. But nowadays, with the power of the internet, you can purchase and download games as you please without ever having to leave the comfort of your parents' basement. Alongside this came the power of patches and updates, where game developers can now send you this downloadable file containing either fixes to bugs or even more content to the game. Unfortunately, this was a blessing in disguise. It was good news for game developers, but bad news for the consumer. Early access, pre-orders, games that were half finished, and games that weren't even fucking playable. All of these things stemmed from how much game developers abused their ability to patch and update their games. They didn't have this luxury back in the day, so if they wanted to create and publish a game, they actually had to put in the effort, making sure that their game was enjoyable for the player, and play tested their game for minimal bugs. Because once that game released, that was it. It was Judgment Day. When I bought Devil May Cry 3, I knew that what I had in my hand was a wild adventure with sick gameplay combat, epic bosses, and a story that would keep me entertained for hours on end. I bought an actual playable video game. On the other hand, Fallout 76, No Man's Sky, and Mass Effect Andromeda were some of the biggest titles to drop this century, but on release, were instead the biggest online scams in video game history. Microtransactions, lack of content, game-breaking bugs, you name it. It was an all-you-can-eat fucking shitfest. With the way Cyberpunk released, I am thoroughly convinced that they were so incredibly behind schedule that they completely skipped all game testing procedures prior to the launch, resulting in one of the biggest video game flops of all time. Now, with that being said, all of these games that I listed here are in fact quite decent now. All of them sit above a slightly positive rating and have now been fixed throughout the years, but That just further proves my point. Why are most of these game companies so adamant on rushing these anticipated titles so much to the point of them hardly being playable on launch? Isn't launch day the most important day? Why the fuck would you have the plan on releasing a game in a shitty state, then fixing it afterwards? It's almost as if some of these companies are getting us, the community, to playtest their shitty game for them just so they can save money on staff. It kind of hurts knowing that if they just delayed their release a little longer and polished the game up a little, they would have released a pretty fine-ass video game. But instead, you got this lousy-ass meta of releasing a half-finished video game as soon as possible so that we can get all the money, and then we can continue making the game and finally complete it in like 2 to 3 years. Back in the day when a game franchise I love announces that they're making a sequel, I was bouncing around, ecstatic, full of hype, and I couldn't contain my excitement. But nowadays, when that exact same event happens, the sad reality is, I just think to myself, man, I really, really hope they don't fuck this up, because the amount of times I've been disappointed time and time again in gaming is uncountable. Copy and paste games. The only thing worse than releasing a game that is half finished is releasing the same game over and over again, but with a different number at the end of it. Now, I know I'm going to trigger a lot of you viewers with this statement, and there's no easy way to say this, so here it goes. Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and every single fucking sports game out there, if you're a fan of one of these, you're brainwashed. These fan bases will never stop complaining about how every single game that comes out is the exact same as the last, yet they keep fucking buying them. It's as if Voss's famous quote from Far Cry 3 wasn't a good enough warning to the fans of what was yet to come.
Is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
The fact that this quote comes from a Far Cry game could not be more perfect. And it's hard to put the entire blame onto the companies that abuse this method of game developing, because at the end of the day, they just keep doing it because it fucking works. So until we as the gaming community take a stand and stop buying into this repetitive bullshit, Ubisoft and EA will continue to keep getting away with it. I mean, if you're truly sick and tired of trailing missions, bland open worlds, generic storylines, and the same style of gameplay, then why do you keep consuming this content? I mean, granted, there are always going to be those dumb fucks out there who can't tell the difference between an actual video game and a cutscene simulator, but the craziest part is that the majority of people who are actual fans of these game franchises are aware of this repetitive nonsense and continue to buy into it, hoping for a change, just so they can be let down again and again and again. Innovation is risky. All right, let's face it. Working as a video game developer is not fucking easy at all. In fact, I would actually go as far as to calling it one of the most difficult jobs in the world. Gamers out there will have the audacity to complain about the lack of creativity and innovation in games nowadays when all they've played are fucking Call of Duty games. The gaming community has to be one of the most confused, hypocritical, bipolar bunch of people I've ever seen in my life. And I will admit that I am no better. I will include myself into that group. I will rage quit a game of Dota 2 because I can't stand my shitty teammates, then log right into League of Legends. I concede. I admit to everyone here that I am indeed very brain dead. But as much as I am brain dead, I am at least aware of the sheer fact that a lot of gamers don't actually know what they want. Believe it or not, there have been many games out there that have taken different approaches and have this really unique and different style of gameplay, but you never hear about them and they just get swept under the rug because guess what? Yet another generic Battlegrounds game just came out. Whoop-de-doo. What I'm basically trying to say here is that nowadays, especially in modern day gaming, even if you had the creative mind and ability to make a unique game, it's almost never really worth it. Statistics will prove this, and I mean, why would you even take that risk? This comes back to my last video where I made a point that it's far easier and more profitable to just copy a successful game genre than to try and make up your own. This is why you'll always see big companies just try to copy off one another rather than trying something new. Valorant to CSGO, Overwatch to Team Fortress 2, Multiversus to Smash, FIFA to the last FIFA. Almost every other game you see is a Souls-like, and every single new Battle Royale game that comes out. I think that the last arguably innovative game to really blow up was either Escape from Tarkov or Rocket League, and if you really think about it, they're not even that innovative. Tarkov being just another FPS but with a roguelike permadeath sort of twist, and Rocket League, well, it's fucking football with cars. Still though, these two games are far more creative than any of the shit that we see nowadays. Like, I'm sorry, but I just have to say it. I am sick and fucking tired of all these Battle Royale and Dark Souls copies. They are multiplying like literal cancer cells. They are all having Alabama incest orgies with each other. Like, how do they keep coming out with new ones? I fucking hate them. To finally finish off this video, I just want to say that I appreciate you guys sticking around until the very end. I know that this may be one of my more spicier videos, as I was mostly just ranting the whole time and giving my personal takes on the topic. I usually never read my YouTube comments, like, ever, but I might make an exception today here since I am genuinely curious. What do you guys honestly think? Does gaming for you feel like it's going downhill? And if so, what makes you think that? If not, feel free to share some of the great games that you found along the way and share them with the rest of the people down here. Who knows? You might give a great recommendation and they might change their mind. I personally feel like overall, gaming is nowhere near its end, let alone quote unquote dying. I think that's just silly. Yet I do agree, and I will say that it is honestly way harder finding those actual good games now, since with the power of Steam and Unity combined, anybody can claim themselves as a game developer nowadays. Good games are just unfortunately buried underneath tons of garbage like The Last of Waifus and Super Hentai Racers. I sort of see gaming nowadays as our ocean. As time goes by, it's unfortunately getting flooded with huge amounts of trash, to the point where we can't even see the beauty underneath it all. But just because all we see is the trash on the surface doesn't necessarily mean that the beauty isn't there anymore.